Welcome back, Patriots. Welcome back to Sons of Liberty 1773. I'm your host, Bill Bailey. Today is January 5th, 2024, year of our Lord. Tomorrow is the 3-year anniversary of the January 6th protest, where 1 million Americans showed up in Washington, D.C. to lawfully exercise their First Amendment rights and protest the stolen election. And it's when the government, and it reminds me, by the way, of the Boston Massacre, where revolutionary patriots, Sam Adams and Sons of Liberty and others were throwing snowballs at the redcoats, yelling at them because they didn't like the tyranny they were living under, but they were unarmed. And the soldiers shot into the crowd, killing some colonial Americans, just murdering them. That's what January 6th reminds me. It's very similar, okay? And what would come next, if we follow the revolutionary timeline, is an event that is going to mirror Lexington and Concord. And I can see it happening, folks, unfortunately, but we can't live under tyranny. So Ashli Babbitt, husband and mom, have filed a wrongful death lawsuit. And here's the article. This is at Postmillennial. Breaking: Judicial Watch launches lawsuit against government for wrongful death of Ashli Babbitt. Lieutenant Byrd did not give Ashli any warnings or commands before shooting her dead. So Judicial Watch has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the U.S. government on behalf of the family of Ashli Babbitt. The woman, the American patriot, right? An Air Force veteran, a small business owner, somebody that loved this country dearly, that was active in politics, that was the all-American girl. The woman fatally shot inside the Capitol on January 6, 2021. The lawsuit filed on behalf of the Babbitt's estate and her husband Aaron in the Southern District of California brings forth multiple counts against the government, including assault and battery, negligence, negligent supervision, discipline and retention of Lieutenant Byrd, negligent training, wrongful death. Ashli loved her country and wanted to show her support for President Trump's America First policies and to see and hear the president speak live while he remained in office. Ashli did not go to Washington as part of a group or any unlawful or nefarious purpose. She was there to exercise what she believed were her God-given American liberties and freedoms, the lawsuit states. They are seeking $30 million. I think it should be $300 million, plus cost and interest according to law, and any and all further relief to which plaintiffs may be justly entitled. I want justice so bad for her family, her husband, her loved ones, but especially for America, because to me it was just a outright murder by the tyrannical government of one of the American patriots working to save our country from ruin. So such a tragedy. And she wasn't the only one murdered that day. There were 3 other deaths, patriots, none of which were Capitol Police, as the Orwellian media would like people to believe. I won't spend a lot of time on this headline because it says it all right there. Mayorkas, who is a treasonous bastard, now says that the millions of military-aged men that are leaving their family in other countries, right, because they're heading to the battlefield, have invaded America across the southern border on Biden's watch because of climate change, folks. So they're coming here because of climate change, and they're leaving their wife and kids behind in the whatever misery they're dealing with because of climate change in some other part of the world. And they're infiltrating our country because it got too hot somewhere. No, they're coming here because they're being paid and programmed and sought out. And it's all part of a plan. They're given a map, how to get into this country, where to stay. Once they hit the border, what city to head to and where the shelters are to go to, because not only are they going to register these people as voters, I believe the Biden regime has some nefarious things going on to where They're already building angst against MAGA, right? We've seen Biden's speech at Independence Hall, where he said the greatest threat to democracy is the MAGA Republicans. Declaring, think about this, he's not a legitimate president, but he is the president, whether we like it or not. He has the power of the office. Declaring that the majority of Americans here are enemies of the state. I mean, the guy should be removed from office just after that speech alone. But I believe they are looking for a military force that will be loyal to the regime, because they're not going to turn American army, our military, our National Guard against the American people. It ain't going to happen. I know too many of them guys. They'll never do it. They took an oath of office to defend the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and protect America from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And it sure as hell ain't American patriots. It's the regime, the Biden regime. They are an enemy of our Constitution and our Bill of Rights, and an enemy of our republic. So I think they want to enlist these people in the military, in the National Guard, in the police, because these people have no loyalty to this country. None. Zero. They weren't born here. They don't have friends here. They will do what the deep state tells them. And I think they're, I like Star Wars. I've been working my way through the whole series from beginning to end. I got 2 more episodes to watch. Never get sick of it. But they're building the stormtrooper army, right? The Empire. They're not recruiting for the rebellion. Let's put it that way. So I found that's humorous. It's definitely not climate change. Boy, I'll tell you, we have to keep our guard up when we start to like somebody, because you just never know who they are. And man, I liked Ron DeSantis as, this like American first patriot that Trump endorsed and got elected as the governor of Florida. And he was doing all the right things, and thought, wow, once Trump's done, he'll be our next president. We'll elect Ron. I don't want anything to do with Ron. He's a creep. Listen to this. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis jabbed January 6 protesters, many of whom remain imprisoned for simply trespassing. And actually, it's public property. I don't think they were trespassing. They were exercising their First Amendment rights, Ron, and you're an attorney and you know that. During a CNN town hall in Iowa on Thursday. But here's what happened. He was asked a question, and listen to his response. DeSantis was unsympathetic to their plight, saying they didn't display patriotism while protesting the election certification. So he goes, are these patriots? And he goes, no, certainly not. Ron's showing his true colors. And, I think the establishment is leaving Ron behind. They're getting behind globalist warmonger, CCP asset Nikki Haley. She is a real slime ball. It's going to be Trump, and nothing can stop what's coming. I No More Than made that video yesterday, and you should go back and watch it, how Biden plans to defile tomorrow on the 3-year anniversary of January 6th. Valley Forge. Disgusting, folks. And you should watch my video. But I know Morton posted that video yesterday, and the Biden Harris campaign released this ad. I wish I would have had it. I would have added it to the video, but let's watch it now.
I've made the preservation of American democracy the central issue of my presidency. I believe in free and fair elections and the right to vote fairly and have your vote counted. There's something dangerous happening in America. There's an extremist movement that does not share the basic beliefs in our democracy. All of us are being asked right now, what will we do to maintain our democracy? History's watching. The world is watching. And most important, our children and grandchildren will hold us responsible. The Vice President and I have supported voting rights since day one of this administration. And I ask every American to join me in this cause. America is still a place of possibilities where the power resides with we, the people. That's our soul. We are the United States of America. There is nothing beyond our capacity when we act together. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
They don't believe in free and fair elections. They believe in rigging the system and stealing elections. But it's, you're seeing a narrative here, folks. It started at Independence Hall when he defiled Independence Hall on the anniversary of January 6th, where he said, MAGA Republicans are the greatest threat to democracy. You notice they never say constitutional republic. You'll never hear a Democrat say constitutional republic. So they're identifying the threat to their regime, which that is true. We are the greatest threat to the communist coup and the woke cult that's destroying this country. So in that regard, I guess they're right. But we're not the threat to this country. We're the ones trying to save this country. So now he's going to deliver a speech tomorrow that's going to be the same rhetoric, and then their campaign ad comes out, right? Where the greatest threat to democracy is Trump and his supporters. No, Joe, you're wrong about that. We're the greatest threat to your criminal regime, but not America. We are the ones working to save this country. But watch my video from yesterday. I'll put the link at the end of the video here. Because he's evil. He's gonna go commit sacrilege on the holy ground of Valley Forge, where George Washington and the Continental Army survived barely a brutal winter. George Washington would be organizing a rebellion. If he was here right now, he would be absolutely outraged by Joe Biden. He would consider him and their cult every bit as evil, more evil actually, than the British Empire at the time. And I did want to share this article really quick. America is careening for a financial collapse unlike anything humanity has ever experienced. No nation in the history of the world has printed the amount of money that this country has printed. And it's snowballing. They're printing more and more. COVID's over. We're not trying to shore up the economy from COVID. They're just, once you allow them to print extra money, they just keep doing it. So America has borrowed $1 trillion since the start of football season. And now, folks, it looks like, read this highlighted area here. Looking ahead, debt will continue to skyrocket as the Treasury expects to borrow nearly $1 trillion more by the end of March. So we are now printing. They're not borrowing, folks. They're not borrowing money. They are printing this money and then say, they're loaning out printed dollars. They're inventing this currency. But we're now printing $1 trillion every 90 days. Every 90 days. And then you got to pay the interest on the trillions that you're creating. This is going to end badly. It may not make it till November. Our economy, it certainly wouldn't surprise. If there was a trigger event that just put a fright into everybody, that would probably do it. That would probably be the first domino, and we would be heading to economic ruin. And that's why, if you don't own some physical gold and silver, I think you're a fool myself. Not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you my opinion. Should be stocking up on stuff, paying off the debt, owning the stuff that you have, if that's possible. I realize everybody is, a lot of people are living hand to mouth, and that's just a dream at this point. But do whatever you can do to get your financial house in order and prepare, because the storm is coming. Lastly, I just wanted to talk about, there is a big election coming up in Taiwan, the 13th of January. So it's coming up quick, right? China is meddling in there, trying to get their politicians, election interference. But if that election doesn't go the way China wants, Eric Prinz believes China will then take Taiwan by force, probably late spring. So things are in North Korea just shot 200 mortars into a southern zone that had South Korea moving people off an island. Things are getting real. The stuff with Russia and Ukraine isn't looking any better. And then we're dealing with Iran and the Middle East. So we're living in a world of chaos, and that is what 2024 is going to be. It's going to be a year of war and chaos, and a lot of battles to be won that we have to fight, unfortunately, and win right here in our country. And then somebody wanted me to touch on this, and I just will for a little bit, for a quick second. Kristina Karamo, who I love, and Matt DePerno. I mean, these are two of our grassroots patriots. Matt ran for, I always my attorney, and got the first forensic audit of voting machines. I mean, Matt has really been a patriot, and he's put his whole career on the line, right? Dana Nessel has charged him as trying to put him in prison. The bar's trying to threatening to disbar him. And then, him and Kristina he ran for Michigan Attorney General, and Kristina for Secretary of State, and had a fundraiser right here in the barn that I'm sitting in for the two of them. It was an excellent fundraiser. We raised a lot of money. Brian Lupo was here, and CanCon, and filled the barn. It was a sold out event. So I've supported them both. Then Matt decided he would run to be chair of the Michigan GOP because we needed grassroots leadership. And then what went wrong is somebody, I don't know what got Kristina to run as chair, because this is something that the establishment likes to do. And the Democrats, to be honest, they like to meddle in our politics and get our two favorites to run against each other. And so they got and Matt had called Kristina and said he was running, and said, if you want a position in the party, whatever you want, let me know, on good terms. And then she decided to get in the race. Okay. Well, then people got to pick sides, right? Of the grassroots. Either you're with Matt or you're with Kristina. So ultimately, Kristina won as chair. Okay. And there's been infighting ever since. And look, they tried to do this too with the presidential election. They thought if they got Ron DeSantis in, there would be infighting. They'd split the party between Trump and DeSantis, but they failed. Okay. And they're failing miserably. But keep in mind, the number one job of the chair of a state of the Republican Party is to raise money. You need money to win elections, folks. All these negative ads, whether they're true or not, that go on during politics, the reason they do them is they work. And the Democrats will spend hundreds of millions in Michigan, 200 million more this campaign cycle. So we need money to fight back. We need to give our politicians money for ad buys. We need, we need to support them, and it takes a lot of money. So we should really have 30 million probably minimum to be competitive. Okay. So Kristina took over, and she did inherit the party with debt, like $600,000 of debt. And I think Ron Weiser gave some money, helped pay off some debt. She maybe raised, $100,000 or something or more. But ultimately she's not raising any money. I mean, we should have like $30 million. And I don't believe they have 100,000. Okay. So there's a movement right now to remove her, and they're going to have a meeting tomorrow and vote to remove Kristina. And I heard they have the votes. So for me, I like Kristina. It's nothing personal. And look, I'd be just as brutal to Matt. Now, Matt had several million pledged already. Had Matt won, we'd be in tall cotton, and Matt would have been far superior in being the chair of the Michigan Republican Party, just period. And I think probably some of the establishment delegates knew that. And when the final vote came down between Matt and Kristina, they broke to Kristina because they thought she would be the weaker person to run the party. I believe that did happen. So the party is now in the black. They had debt, but I'm hearing that there was a $300,000 donation from Mitch McConnell, and maybe it was Ron Weiser, that was to help win the open Senate seat that Debbie Stabenow is vacating, to win that seat. Well, I'm hearing that they took that $300,000 and paid off the bills, and that's why they're in the black. So haven't verified that, but that's what I heard. So that's what's going on in Michigan. And then we heard Laura Loomer has been all over Kristina. She's been pretty brutal to her. We learned Kristina is the president, I think a not-for-profit, allegedly. I think it's actually true, but I'll say allegedly, that she joined after she was chair in Las Vegas, I think is where this place is. And they give money to Democrats and RFK. So I don't know what's going on, but it's just, things aren't right. And I've owned a couple real estate brokerages, Renee and I did in the past. Weren't huge, but I had agents. I had real estate agents. And before that, I was in the car business for like a decade. And I've had to fire people, folks. I've let them go. If you've been in sales, you get a cardboard box. They bring you a cardboard box and say, pack your crap up. You're out of here. But I've had to let people go, and I didn't want to. I liked them, but they weren't doing the job they were hired to do. And it's nothing personal. It's just business. So that's what's going on in a nutshell in Michigan. And they're saying, and Kristina's saying, it's the establishment against her. And I think there's some truth. There is some truth to that too, as well. And they're trying to get rid of the grassroots. But on the other hand, we are heading into the most crucial election in the history of this country. Our republic is on the line, folks. If we don't win this election and get Trump reelected, and the Democrats win, because I don't believe any other candidate except Donald Trump can beat the Democrat rigged machine, because we have to swamp the vote to overcome the games. We're going to lose our country. So to me, we cannot be in this position right now where we're going to where we're not raising money and getting donations, and not out there shaking the bushes. And there is some truth to the big mega establishment donors that have always gave to the Michigan Republican Party. There's no way in hell they're going to give to Kristina and the grassroots that took the party over. And that's true with those people, but there's other donors that are very wealthy that just don't think that the current organization will spend the donations wisely, because Matt had millions pledged. So don't tell me it can't be done. So that's what all the hoopla is about in Michigan. And right now there's some major infighting going on. I think Kristina and her attorney are holding a Zoom call tonight, or a Zoom. And then tomorrow, they're saying the meeting is an illegitimate, illegal meeting, but I do not believe that's true, folks. I believe it's a legitimate meeting. And I think the questions are fair to be asked. And matter of fact, Melinda Pago, who was Kristina's running mate, right? Her co-chair or whatever, she even wants, she says, hey, it's just, there's stuff that what's going on, in good conscience, I can't live with. So she's actually, I think, part of the movement to remove Kristina. So I hate it. I hate that we have to deal with this crap, but to me, it's nothing personal. It's just a matter of the job. If she'd had $1 million in the bank by now, which is still not nearly enough, folks, but that would have shown, hey, she's raising money. Okay. But I'm just not seeing it. So hopefully if she survives the vote, this is a wake-up call to raise money. And if she doesn't, I've heard a couple other names tossed out of people that would like to be the temporary chair. Melinda Pago will become the temporary chair until they get a new one. But I've heard a couple of the names, and they would be great names, and they are not establishment names by any stretch. So that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. So watch my video from yesterday on defiling Valley Forge. Joe Biden is really evil. I think it says pure evil. Joe Biden plans to defile Valley Forge. And see what you think. But if you're new to this channel and you can relate with the content, please subscribe, become a member of our community, give the videos a thumbs up. It helps push the content out. Share the videos, comment down below. I love reading your comments. Keep praying and keep prepping. We are heading into battle, my friends. And as always, may God continue to bless our great nation, and may the good Lord keep you and yours safe. Until next time, Sons of Liberty out. See you guys.